23. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jayo Radha Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jayo Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Shri Radhe. Jayo Krishna Balram, Krishna Balram, Krishna Balram, Jayo Krishna Balram. Jayo Vrindavan Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Jayo Vrindavan Dham. Jayo Jagannatha, Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jayo Subhadra. Jayo Gauranitai, 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 Jayo Gauranitai. Gauranitai, Jayo Gaurani. Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajakaacharya Ashtotara Shatashri Śrīmad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindi ki jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatiruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 5, titled as Durvasa Muni's Life Spared. We are reading from verse number 23. Samvatsarotyagatavad Yavata nagato gataha Munistad darshana kanksho Raja bhaksho babhuvaha Samvatsarotyagatavad Yavata nagato gataha Munistad darshana kanksho Raja bhaksho babhuvaha Samvatsarotyagatavad Yavata nagato gataha Munistad darshana kanksho Raja bhaksho babhuvaha. Raja bhaksho babhuvaha Samvatsarotyagatavad Munistad darshana kanksho Babhu Raja bhaksho babhuvaha. Mataji. Samvatsarotyagatavad Samvatsaraha, one complete year. Atyagat, past. Tavat, as long as. Yavata, so long. Na, not agataha, returned, gataha, Durvasa Muni, who had left that place. Munihi, the great sage, tad darshana, akankshaha, desiring to see him again. Raja, the king, apabhakshaha, taking only water. Babhuvaha, remained indeed. Translation: Durvasa Muni had left the place of Maharaja Ambarisha, and as long as he had not returned for 1 complete year, the king had fasted, maintaining himself simply by drinking water. There's no purport, so we'll read 24 as well. Gate tadurvasasi sombarisho dvijopayogati pavitramaharat risher vimoksham vyasanam cha vikshya mene svaviryam saparanubhavam. After 1 year, when Durvasa Muni had returned, King Ambarisha sumptuously fed him all varieties of pure food, and then he himself also ate. When the king saw the Brahmana Durvasa Muni, Brahmana Durvasa had been released from the great danger of being burned, he could understand that by the grace of the Lord he himself was also powerful. But he did not take any credit, for everything had been done by the Lord. Purport: a devotee of Maharaja Ambarisha is certainly always busy in many activities. Of course, this material world is full of dangers that one has to meet. But a devotee, because of his full dependence on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is never disturbed. The vivid example is Maharaja Ambarisha. He was the emperor of the entire world and had many duties to perform. And in the course of these duties, there were many disturbances created by persons like Durvasa Muni. But the king tolerated everything patiently, depending fully on the mercy of the Lord. The Lord, however, is situated in everyone's heart, sarvasya chaham hridisannivishtaha, and he manages things as he desires. Thus, although Maharaja Ambarisha was faced with many disturbances, the Lord, being merciful to him, managed things so nicely that in the end, Durvasa Muni and Maharaja Ambarisha became great friends and parted cordially on the basis of Bhakti Yoga. After all, Durvasa Muni was convinced of the power of Bhakti Yoga, although he himself was a great mystic yogi. Therefore, as stated by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 6.47, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yukta tamo mataha. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Thus it is a fact that a devotee is the topmost yogi, as proved in the dealings of Maharaja Ambarisha with Durvasa Muni. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishna Vamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yam pravrajantam manupetam apeta krityam dvaipayana virahakatara ajuhava putreti tanmayataya taravo bhinedu stham sarva bhuta hridayam munimanatosmi. So, Hare Krishna. So, this is a wonderful chapter, in fact, a series of chapters, which is glorifying Ambarish Maharaja, the dearmost devotee of the Lord. As is a practice, before we delve into a little bit of this pastime, it is also nice to glorify why we have to even study Bhagavatam. It is generally a practice and a tradition to glorify Bhagavatam, to induce the listeners. So before I begin, I seek the permission and blessings of His Grace Hari Sori Prabhu, who has graced us with his presence, and all the assembled devotees. In the Skanda Purana, there is a glorification. In fact, there is a chapter called Bhagavata Mahatmya. There is a chapter glorifying Bhagavatam itself in the Skanda Purana. In that, there is one shloka which says, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Shastram Kalau Kirena Kirtitam Kalau Vyala Mukhagrasa Trasa Nirnasha Hetave. 5,000 years ago, generally, if you see the Puranas, all the Puranas begin in one place. If you see the storytelling of Puranas, what place is this? What place does Bhagavatam begin with? Naimisharanya. Nimishe Naimisharanya. So Naimisharanya is a very unique place, and for some reason, all the Puranas begin with that place. You take any Purana, the beginning position, the geographical location that it begins with is Naimisharanya. We have discussed many times before why Naimisharanya is so glorious. Nimishe Naimisharanya Kshetre. This is a very pious place. So in this place, Shaunaka Rishi, Shaunaka Muni, was running a Gurukul. Therefore, he is called as a Kulapati. Kulapati means one who has a Gurukul of 10,000 students. So there was a Gurukul that used to run of 10,000 students. Now, Gurukul does not mean we go to school and come back. Gurukul means always a boarding school. It's residential. So there's free food, free accommodation, and free education. So this is what Gurukul was in those days. So Shaunaka Rishi was doing their Nitya Agnihotra. Generally in those days, there were 3 Vedic practices, and whoever belonged to the Yajurveda section, they used to perform Agnihotra, the fire sacrifice. And we see Bhagavatam elucidates this in the beginning, that they performed their fire sacrifice and they began questioning that Kali Yuga is progressing, so what to do? So Shaunaka Muni was teaching in his university in the Naimisharanya. Then the visiting professors visit. You know, in your universities you have visiting professors. It's a very similar concept. Where did they get that from? So here in Naimisharanya, who was the visiting professor? Suta Goswami. So Suta Goswami arrives. Who is Suta Goswami? Romaharshana. Romaharshana is none other than the son of Vyasadeva actually. He's called as Romaharshana because when he said Bhagavatam, when he used to talk about Bhagavatam, his hairs used to stand. Therefore he's Roma. Roma means hair. Romaharshana Sutta. His son is Suta. Suta's son is Suta. So, and Romaharshana, as you all know, was actually killed by Balarama, and then the Brahmana says, you've killed a Brahmana. Balarama says, you have done a Brahmahatya. So you have to do penance for it. And the Lord says, okay, his son will be a glorious Bhagavatam preacher. And that's how Suta Goswami comes into the picture. So he's visiting Naimisharanya. And Shaunaka Muni questioned Suta Goswami in the Skanda Purana. This very similar questioning he does in Srimad Bhagavatam as well. He says, because Kali Yuga is fast approaching, Suta Goswami, what is the hope for people in Kali Yuga at large? And then, as an answer to this, Suta Goswami recites this verse. Here he glorifies Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. He says, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Shastram Kalau Kirena Kirtitam. The only place, the only literature, the only message that can save the people of Kali Yuga is this Shastram which is called Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And what does it do? Kalau Vyala Mukagrasa. Time is compared to a snake. Why is it compared to a snake? Because it is an all-devouring time. Time finishes everything in this material universe. Kala Vyala Mukhagrasa. Mukhagrasa, grasa means grass, grasa means feed. So the feed for the cow, for the snake is this material world, and the snake devours everything. And in that devouring, we are also a part of that, you know. And therefore to abet or to escape from the harmful effects of the time, trasa nirnasha hetave, the trasa, the pain given by this material world, one can elevate oneself or alleviate the pain and suffering by studying Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Before Suta Goswami answers the question of Saunaka the Rishi, he tells what is the qualification of the student of Bhagavatam. So there has to be qualification as well. Anybody cannot go and study in RMIT or any other big universities, isn't it? You need to be able to admit yourself into that, and you have to be eligible to hear Bhagavatam. What is the eligibility? Suta Goswami says the eligibility is to Shaunakadi Rishi that you, although you could have achieved everything in this material life in terms of material emoluments, you have attained that one detachment. You are detached with all the material attachments. So therefore, this is one qualification, one of the very glorious qualification you have, that you have finished off with material desires. You have finished off your material desires. That is one good qualification for you to hear the message of the Bhagavatam. Therefore, I will tell this message to you. Therefore, eligibility also, Suta Goswami says. One has to finish off his material desires before we start hearing the message of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Therefore, in Kali Yuga, there are so many ways to attain material wealth, is it not? Chintamani stone, usually in the Shastras, the glorification of material wealth is compared to Chintamani. Chintamani is a touchstone. Anything that touches the touchstone will become gold. So what is the Chintamani of today's day and age? Huh? What is the Chintamani of today's day and age? The holy, of course, the spiritual side. But what do people think is the Chintamani? The material education. Material education, a good job, good business, good wealth, fame, good beauty. All of these, they think is materially I'll become successful and happy, because every jiva is looking for two things, happiness and peace of mind. But he thinks getting into material emoluments, I will get that. So in material world, for example, Australian PR, Australian citizenship, many people come here desiring material wealth and a good high standard of living. But all the while, material world always displeases us in some form or the other. So therefore, what is that which can give us wealth which is eternal? And that is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. That is why Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Prabhupada ordained that we read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam every day. And 365 days a year, we read and study Bhāgavatam. In this chapter, coming to the context of this chapter, many devotees are gloriously speaking about various incidences and context of this chapter. One glorious context that we see in this chapter is the quality of a devotee. In the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which talks about Daivasura Sampada, which is divine and demoniac natures, Krishna begins the chapter by discussing what are the qualities of a devotee, or divine qualities of divine personalities. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi Dhanam Damascha Yagnascha Swadhyayas Tapas Arjavam. In that, the third verse talks about interesting few qualities. Teja Kshama Dhritis Saucham Adroho Natimanita Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim Abhijatasya Bharata. So this is Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim. These are the divine qualities of Sura, or divine personalities, or basically devotees. And one of the qualities that Krishna explains is Kshama. Kshama means forgiveness. So I just thought maybe we should take up this quality of Ambarisha Maharaja and try to understand what is this quality or a virtue that Amrish Maharaj is actually demonstrating in this particular episode between this episode of Durvasa Muni, apparent feud between Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj. Although we have to always understand, Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni are very exalted personalities. We are in no position to criticize Durvasa Muni as well. But Bhagavatam arranges these sections, as we also see in the Govardhan pastime. Indra actually makes an offense to Krishna. So it doesn't mean we go and criticize Indra as a lowly being, because Indra is a very dear devotee of the Lord. So we have to be careful when we speak Bhagavatam that we don't inadvertently criticize devotees. So Durvasa Muni also is a very exalted personality, but he's being taught a lesson by the Supreme Lord. Now, just to meditate a few minutes on the quality of Kshama. This word Kshama in Sanskritam comes from the root word Ksham. Ksham dhatu. Ksham means it is to endure, to tolerate, or to be capable of. That is what Kshama is, to capable of. For example, if you say Roga Kshama means one who has the Kshamata, or the toleration, or the capability to destroy disease. Or in other words, in English it is called as immunity. One has good immunity means one who has the Kshamata to destroy disease. That is Ksham. The word Ksham is where Kshama is derived from. So what does Kshama mean? It means despite someone being critical of us, whether reasonably or unreasonably, predominantly unreasonably. If it is reasonable, we have to take it. It is not a question of forgiveness. But somebody is critical of us, then we have to tolerate someone's wrong behavior. And we see this only, especially in the devotee community. Because when it is in the outside world, well, of course, life outside is not very personal these days. It's very impersonal. So you won't see much of these qualities in today's day and age. People are always envious. There is envy and jealousy and greed, because after these three verses, Krishna also explains about the qualities of asuras. 4, 5, 6, the fourth verse onwards, he explains the quality of asuras, and which is what predominantly we see. Dambha, Darpa. Dambha is pride, jealousy, enviousness. These are the qualities of typical, almost all human beings, not only the karmis. But generally, forgiveness is a very good virtue for us as devotees to cultivate, especially when we work with devotees. Very important, very significant. Why? Because so where does the question of forgiveness arises? Where it arises is, although if someone has a capability to take punitive action, for example, somebody has offended me, I can take punitive actions. For example, who was Parikshit Maharaj cursed by? Shringi cursed Parikshit Maharaj. Was Parikshit Maharaj capable of taking punitive actions against Shringi? He was. He was a Raja Rishi. He was a direct descendant of the Pandavas, directly saved by Krishna himself. But he did not take punitive actions. That is forgiveness. Forgiveness means, although I have the capability to take punitive actions, either legally, verbally, physically, socially, mentally, I still refrain from punishing that person. I forgive him. That is forgiveness. That is called Kshama. Kshama Dhrita means one who has the capability to forgive the wrongdoer and not hold a grudge or resentment. In the English, such a person is not grudging. But then what happens for a person who doesn't have the capability to punish? He doesn't have the capability to punish, but somebody is doing the wrong thing to him. What does he do? Does he hold grudge? Should he hold a grudge? Or should he say, I've forgiven him? He should still forgive. He should say, okay, I don't have the capacity to correct this person, and he should still continue. And why he should do it, we will continue to discuss actually, because this is a very significant and an important quality to cultivate as a devotee. In the English language, when I see in the English language, what is forgiveness as? What is forgiveness translated as? Anybody wants to give it a try? What is forgiveness in English? Stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for whatever they have done. That's what it is. Stop being angry on him and stop being resentful. And this only happens when you have to do something with that person. It doesn't happen with someone whom you don't care or you're not concerned with. If it's very impersonal relation you have, you wouldn't feel anger or resent. You will only feel when you are very close to someone. So therefore, there are high chances that you will feel resentment or anger towards another devotee, especially a peer when you're working with. Therefore, you will see a lot of husband and wife fights. Why do you have husband and wife fights? Because they work together all the time. So therefore, there will be anger and resentment. And therefore, this is a very important quality for grihasthas to cultivate as well. Because they have a team, husband and wife. So therefore, one has to let go of this anger, the bitterness in them. Because when some wrongdoing has happened, what is the first reaction of that person? He feels bitter, he feels sad. Why did the person do this to me? And you get bitter, anger, and then you resent it. And then you feel hurt, is it not? You feel hurt, and then gradually that translates into hate. I hate this person, and that hate gets converted into jealousy and envy and pride and whatnot and whatnot and whatnot. And so therefore, it translates into asuric propensities. So therefore, it's very important. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us, what is the shloka he teaches us where you have to be? Yes, Trinadapi Sunichena Taroriva Sahishnuna. Taroriva, like a tree you have to be tolerant. That's why it is very important. Why? Because how does a devotee take it? How does a devotee take, a wrongdoing? Somebody did a wrong thing to him. How does he take it? Yes, Mataji. Yes, because a devotee connects this to the karma. To say, oh my God, maybe I've done a lot of bad karma to this person. So he has come and actually he will glorify him. Oh, you have personally come to take out my karma by actually criticizing me, by chastising me. You are so merciful to me that you have come to take out my bad karma out of me. So therefore, that is how a devotee starts seeing it. It's very important for a sadhaka to cultivate this. In fact, there is a story, I can tell a story now. There was one sadhu, basically a sannyasi of, he was traveling especially in the, generally these sannyasis have a desire to feed a lot of other sannyasis when it comes to Kumbh Mela. Kumbh Mela is a place where all the sannyasis around the world assemble. So this sannyasi had a desire. What a desire he had? I want to invite thousands of sannyasis and feed them. But he himself is a bhikshu. Sannyasi means he is a bhikshu. Bhikshu means he is a beggar. Beggar means he doesn't have anything in this world. So what he did, he started expressing the desire and collecting donations. So he started collecting donations everywhere and people started giving him money. So what happened, he collected Lakshmi as he went. In those days maybe some coins or gold coins. And they used to have a stick, right? So he started putting those coins inside the stick. Maybe it was a bamboo stick or something. He started putting them all inside. So he puts them all inside and then he finally finds out that he has enough where he can actually find out a place and a location to arrange. So as he was traveling in his pilgrimage and then he finally thinks, no, I have to go to Kumbh Mela and then I'll put a bhojanalaya or something like that where I can feed all the brahmanas or the sannyasis. On his en route, he is going via a village and there he sees a grihastha where he can go and beg. So he says, Bhikshan Dehi. And the grihastha says, oh Babaji, Maharaj, you are passing by to Kumbh Mela. Why don't you stay here with us today? We will serve you and then tomorrow you can continue. The sannyasi, very happy that he's collected all the money and he's hiding it in the stick though. Nobody knows about it because in those days you can't, you don't have, people steal from your bank accounts these days. What to talk about hard-earned money hidden in a stick. But so he agrees, he stays at home and the grihastha husband and wife serve them. And they're also not that very rich. So when the sannyasi is about to sleep, he says, "Can I, massage your feet?" They start massaging, and then after he slept, he tries to lift the stick and put it somewhere else. He feels the stick is unreasonably heavy. And the grihastha becomes inquisitive. And what he does, he takes out the cloth around the stick. Lo and behold, he finds a lot of coins in there, maybe gold or silver. Then he thinks, how come this sannyasi has so much wealth? I should also take a share of it. So what happens within a split of second of his time? Asuram, Mayaya Parthagnana Asuram Bhavam Ashritaha. They take shelter of the Asura Bhava. So he takes shelter of the Asuri Bhava and takes out all the money. And leaves a few, he takes out all the money, and what he does is he fills them with rocks. So that the sannyasi thinks the stick is still heavy. So the morning sannyasi wakes up, he takes out, he thanks the grihastha, and he leaves. And he continues his journey. By then, what has happened is the grihastha has used the money, they've become very rich, and now the sannyasi has reached the mela, and then he organizes his disciples, and he tells his disciple, okay, I have plans to do this, that. No, don't worry, Maharaj, we will organize everything for you. So they organize a big pandal, everything's arranged. The sannyasi says, no, first see how much money we have. Based on that, you should move around. The sannyasi says, Maharaj, you are such a glorious person. Don't worry, Maharaj, everything is arranged by the Lord. So everything gets arranged, and then the sannyasi opens up the stick and the cloth, only to find rocks in it. He gets so bewildered that why this is happening to me? What has happened? All the people have come, everything has been ordered, and then what happens? The person from whom all of this has been borrowed, the groceries and everything, he comes. He says, why are you acting like a sannyasi? You have promised me money and you have taken all the groceries, and now you say you don't have, and you say somebody has stolen your wealth. I don't agree. You must be a pakhandi. You must be a thief. In the garb of becoming famous, you are feeding everyone, but actually it is a debt. You don't have any money. So then he curses, you better not do sannyasi, and you start begging somewhere. Don't do all this dongi. Don't make up, don't falsify your position or your, in the society. So he chastises the sannyasi. Then the sannyasi, with his meditative power, realizes what has happened. He closes his eyes and meditates that. Then he realizes that the grihastha has changed it to the stones and he's stolen the money. For a fraction of a second, he decides, I will take revenge against this guy who actually brought me ill repute. With this in mind, he jumps into the Ganga and leaves his body. Because he cannot tolerate the criticism that as a sannyasi he had to bore by the public. Now by then this grihastha is now very rich. He gets a son. And then lo and behold, the son is born with lot of diseases. And by the time the son becomes 7 or 8 years old, the son is so diseased that he's about to leave the body. And then the son says, then the father says, I have so much money to give you, I cannot cure your disease. What is your desire, my dear son? The son says, Father, I only have one desire. I want to feed Brahmanas. And then I want to feed in the Kumbh Mela. And they all, the Brahmana arranges, and they take him to Kumbh Mela, and they arrange feeding all the sannyasis. And the son, before he leaves his body, he says, you don't know who I am? I am the same sannyasi who stole the money, whom you stole the money from. So I have come to avenge that particular thing you did. And therefore he curses the Brahmana, and then the boy leaves the body. But what is the lesson we learn from here? The lesson is the sannyasis did not forgive. He carried that hate, and because of that hate, what did he have to do? He had to endure another birth. He had to come as what? As the son of that guy. Can you believe? The glorious sannyasi ended up becoming the son of that grihastha, and then came to avenge that wrongdoing of that grihastha. Because he did not realize that it was an arrangement of the Lord to criticize and to blaspheme him in front of the society. He did not see that it's the Lord's hand. He thought, I wanted to feed the sannyasis. I wanted to take the fame. Somewhere there was there, and the Lord removed it. So this story teaches us how important that forgiveness, the virtue of forgiveness is. Even in the In the 10th canto, Brahmaji prays, Tatte nukampam susamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvagvapurbhir vidada namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadaya bhag bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. Brahmaji is saying, Bhunjana, I am eating what? Atmakrita, my own karma I am eating. The glories, the pain and pleasures we endure in this life is only because of our own past karma. One has to see that hand. Bhunjana eva atmakritam vipakam. I am eating my own karma, my dear Lord. Brahmaji explains like this. So therefore, this is a very important virtue. But then the question comes, how do you cultivate this virtue? How do you cultivate this virtue? In fact, Bhagavatam is full of these instances. Right now we are seeing one of the instances of Ambarish Maharaj where he has forgiven Durvasa Muni. He is not holding any grudge. This verse, Prabhupada translates it so beautifully. Prabhupada says he could understand. Translation, he could understand by the grace of the Lord, he himself was also powerful. Durvasa Muni was powerful, but at the same time, Ambarish could understand, actually, I am also so powerful. But how? Durvasa Muni thought, Ambarish Maharaj thought, it is because of the Lord's arrangement. What is this word here? Mene swaviryam cha paranubhavam. The last word, para anubhavam. He can realize that it is anubhava. Anubhava means I am powerful only because of the Lord's mercy and not because I am powerful because of my devotional practice. It is not like that. It is the mercy of the Lord. Therefore, one way to cultivate this virtue is to associate with devotees. Those devotees who are full of this virtue. Not with any other devotees, but devotees who are full of these virtues, we have to associate with them. Hear about the pastimes of such personalities like Ambarish Maharaj. In fact, we see this, who else do we see this virtue in Bhagavatam? About forgiveness? Any other examples? 7th canto. Prahlad Maharaj. Who is he asking forgiveness for? His father. Because Narsinghadev asks, okay Prahlada, what do you want? Ask me a boon. You know what Prahlad Maharaj says? My dear Lord, please give me. I don't want any boons. Narsinghadev said, it's okay, don't be too no dramas. You can ask me a boon. And Prahlad Maharaj says, okay, if you want to give me a boon, please give me a boon by which I will ask for no more boons. Give me that boon. Narsinghadev says, now be fair, man. I'm asking you to ask a boon. It's okay. You can ask. And then Prahlad Maharaj says, if you really want to give me a boon, forgive my father. He doesn't know what he's doing. Please forgive him and grant him moksha. Allah, please forgive him for his offenses. And Narsinghadev says, what to talk of your father? 7 generations before you and after you are all liberated, Prahlada. This is the boon that Narsinghadev gives. So why? Because Hiranyakashipu was so glorious that he had you as his son. So therefore, why shouldn't I excuse him? So this is the example. In fact, we will see many, many instances of such forgiveness in the Shastras. Lord Rama was sent for 14 years of exile. By whom? By his own stepmother Kaikeyi. And did Rama, when actually, it is explained in the Ramayana, when Kaikeyi passes away, interestingly, she gets liberation. And people ask, Rama, she's the one who threw you out of the house. She's the one who threw you out of the kingdom for 14 years. How can you grant her liberation? Rama smiles as usual, mandasmitaha. As the Lord always smiles a little bit, he smiled and he said, that is because she was the glorious mother of Bharata, my brother. So therefore, I excuse her. The second reason Rama gives is, by Svabhava, by her Swarupa, she is not vicious. It is because of Manthara she became vicious. Association, you see. Manthara's association made her become vile. Otherwise, Kaikeyi is a very purified soul. But because of association, one can become muddied. Therefore, he excused. Again, we see in Ramayana, after Vali is shot an arrow, Rama comes to Vali and he says, Okay, and then Vali asks an excuse. I'm sorry, Rama, for all the wrongdoing I've done. Then Rama says, I forgive you, because Vali asks for forgiveness. Rama says, I forgive you. If you want to live, I will give you back your life. Would you like to? Then Vali says, what glory it is to die in your own hands, my dear Lord. I do not wish to again come back into this material body. And it is then Vali is forgiven, and then he leaves his body. In fact, it is written in the Shastras, Vali also is actually none other than Arjuna himself. So to do this pastime. Therefore, he was very powerful. And then Rama also forgives Ravana. Have you heard of that? After Ravana is killed, Rama says, you have to do the Antya Samskar, the crematory ceremonies. Vibhishana says, I don't want to even touch him. He's not my brother. Rama chastises Vibhishana. He says, all that has been to be punished has been done now. Now I don't have any enmity between Ravana. If you do not do the Kriya Karma, the cremation, I will personally do the cremation ceremony of Ravana. Can you imagine how merciful the Lord is? We also see these pastimes of forgiveness is full of these pastimes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a pastime. In fact, there was a personality called Ramachandra Puri. Have you heard of Ramachandra Puri? Ramachandra Puri is who? He's a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, actually. Madhavendra Puri is a glorious disciple of the Lord. In fact, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, we see how eager he was to serve his Gopinath, Gopala deity. He's so eager to serve his Gopala deity, and he always used to chant one verse. What was that verse? Ai Deenanath Dayardra He Mathuranath Kadavalokyase Hridayam Tvadaloka Kataram Daita Bhramyati Kim Karomyaham. This is the same verse he used to chant all the time, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to become crazy hearing this verse. Again and again Madhavendra Puri used to chant this verse. In the outskirts of Jagannath Puri, where he's gone to get the kshira, the sweet rice from Gopinath, he's waiting to get the sweet rice, but at the same time chanting this verse. Ai Deenanatha Dayardrahe. He's chanting, Deenanatha, you are Deenanatha, Daya, give me some mercy. Mathuranatha Kadavalokyase. You are the king of Mathura, and I have never got the opportunity to see you, my dear Lord. Hridayam Tvad Aloka Kataram. I'm very eager to see you. When will that time come when I can see you face to face? This is Madhavendra Puri's mood. Although he's serving Gopala, Gopala comes to him, Gopala talks to him all the time, he can communicate with Gopala all the time when he wants to, and yet he feels the separation from Gopala and Gopinatha all the time. Daita Bhramyati Kim Karomyaham. Without you, what I will do? Madhavendra Puri laments like this. So at the end of his life, when he was winding up his pastimes, he is crying and lamenting in the same way. Krishna, when will I see you? When will that day come when I can see you face to face? And then Ishwara Puri is serving Madhavendra Puri so sweetly. Right then, his another disciple, Ramachandra Puri, comes in and he says, oh, if you are lamenting so much for Krishna, this is the problem. In fact, you should not lament because you are a Brahma Bhuta. So therefore, you should actually aim for Brahman, impersonalist. He says, then all your lamentation will be gone away. That in this way, he advises his own spiritual master against not remembering Krishna. He could not understand that his spiritual master is in ecstasy of separation from Krishna. He couldn't understand. He thought it is mundane lamentation because Mayavadis decry devotional service. They think bhakti is Maya. They think bhakti is a matter of emotion. And that emotion is Maya, Jagan Mithya. They say, oh, all this is bundlebaz, all this is fake. So therefore they become very hard-hearted. And so was hard-hearted Ramachandra Puri. He couldn't understand. And therefore Madhavendra Puri realized that he is fool number one. He said, get out of my sight, Ramachandra Puri. You get out of my sight because you do not understand the bhakti of Krishna. He left Madhavendra Puri, but did he learn a lesson? He did not learn a lesson. So, because he thinks he is very superior, this is another quality of a Mayavadi. Because they read scriptures, they think they are very superior. They have access to the scriptures and they decry Krishna. So he traveled all the way to Jagannath Puri. And in Jagannath Puri, why did he travel? Because he thought he can get free lodging and food in the Vaishnava Parampara families. So he used to go to Vaishnava houses and he used to accept prasadam from their house. With what intention? To judge the Vaishnavas. Like that he came to Jagannananda Pandit's house. He came, Bhiksha, Jagannananda Pandit says, please come, I'll serve you. So he served him samshas prasadam. He ate nicely. And then he says, Jagadananda, I will serve you now. You please sit. And he started serving him. After serving him, he says, no, you take some more. Jagadananda Prabhupada says, no, it's enough. You don't serve me, I'm full. No, you should eat more. Please eat more. And he kept on serving more, and Jagadananda Pandit cannot waste prasadam. He kept on eating with humility. And then after eating all of this, he says, Ramachandra Puri says, I have been observing you followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You don't have any control on your tongue. I was serving you. Doesn't mean you all, devour everything. I could see you're devouring everything. You don't have control on your tongue. Che! And then he leaves the house. So like this, he was finding faults with everyone. So much so, he entered Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he thought, I'm going to observe these sannyasis' movements and then find fault with this guy. So this is where, finding faults comes from. And that is where the glorious attribute of virtue of forgiveness we can see. He was finding fault with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so much so that he came one day to Mahaprabhu's house and he saw a few ants on the floor. And he looks at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What are the ants doing here? Mahaprabhu says, I don't know. And he says, I know you are a fake sannyasi. You are trying to act as if you're a sannyasi outside, but inside the room you're eating sweets. Therefore, the ants have come here to eat those sweets. You've dropped some sugar crystals there, the ants are eating. So you're a fake sannyasi. So he criticizes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Can you believe that? And then the followers of Mahaprabhu became so agitated. He says, Mahaprabhu, we're going to kill this guy. Mahaprabhu says, no, he's my my spiritual uncle, because Ishwarapuri and he's the god brother of my spiritual master. I have to respect him. Mahaprabhu respected him. He paid obeisances. He says, thank you for chastising me, Maharaj. Thank you. May you, by your blessings, I become a little more strict sannyasi. So Mahaprabhu forgave him. Is it not glorious? Therefore, the Lord demonstrates himself how to forgive. This virtue, Krishna doesn't preach this virtue without demonstrating its virtue. But one may bring the instance of Shishupala. Prabhuji, he did not forgive Shishupala. But Krishna said, I will forgive 100 of his offenses. The 101st offense, I will not forgive. And punishing Shishupala also is a forgiveness of the Lord. He is abhinnatvam. He is non-different. His love and his punishment are non-different. Another glorious devotee of the Lord is Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was teaching the lessons of the Lord, but the people were not ready to take his teachings. Oh, you think you are the king of the Jews? They said, oh, you're a king of the Jews. Let us crown you. And they crowned him with a crown of thorns and tightened it on his head, which actually penetrated his skull, and he started bleeding. And after that, they crucified him. They hung him on the cross. And right when his hands, his head, his legs were bleeding, he begs, forgive them, Father. They do not know what they are doing. What sort of forgiveness is this? Only a person in the pure platform of devotional service can actually develop this quality of forgiveness. And this was demonstrated by Jesus Christ that when he was enduring such pain. And this doesn't come by artificial arrangement of the mind. It is not an imposition on the mind, okay, now I will forgive this person. Now I will forgive this wrongdoing. It is a virtue that one has to cultivate every day in the sadhana. It is a virtue because it is not an artificial imposition on the mind that I will start forgiving everyone. It is not easy. One has to take Taroriva sahishnuna. One has to see how lower I am. A Vaishnava thinks in the Vaikuntha. What is the difference between Prakriti consciousness and Vaikuntha consciousness? In Vaikuntha, every devotee feels I am the lowest. In material world, every person feels I am the highest. Just like the person who is actually behind us now, suing us and he thinks I am better. I know better than these people. This is material consciousness. By Vaikuntha, we think we are the lowest. We are sorry if we have troubled you. We take a humble position. But we also give you the message that this will actually deliver you as well. So therefore, there's a very important virtue to cultivate this. There is one last thing we have to understand. Is there a flaw in the virtue of forgiveness? Is there a flaw in the virtue of forgiveness? we have to also understand a caveat of whom to forgive, how to forgive, and when to forgive. We see in the history how forgiveness to people who were not qualified to be forgiven had created havoc. For example, Shishupala was a typical example. Shishupala was not forgiven. Although Draupadi said, you have to forgive Ashwatthama, who Ashwatthama killed Draupadi's own children. But Draupadi said, it's okay, forgive him. Because I do not want his mother Kripi to lament like me. Because Ashwatthama was a son of Dronacharya, he's a son of your own guru. But Krishna punished. He did not spare Bhishmacharya, he did not spare Dronacharya. Why? So therefore we have to understand forgiveness, we have to understand who is eligible to forgiveness and who is to be distanced with. For example, if you see the glorious life of Prithviraj Chauhan, have you heard of the Rajput king Prithviraj Chauhan? Muhammad of Ghori, this was a Mughal tyrant who attacked 18 times India. He attacked India repeatedly, massacred temples, killed, raped, destroyed people. Prithviraj Chauhan, actually in the first time when he entered in the 11th century, he destroyed his army. And then Muhammad of Ghori begged, please forgive me. Prithviraj Chauhan said, okay, I forgive you. What happened? The next, in 20 or 30 years, he came back with a far bigger army and literally massacred Prithviraj Chauhan and killed him very mercilessly. What was the use of that forgiveness? And because of that one forgiveness, India is still enduring even today after 1,000 years of slavery. So we have to understand, kings at that position, we have to be careful because they have responsibility of their citizens. So they cannot be blind, just be emotional about things. So therefore, the flaw of forgiveness is we have to be careful who is eligible for that forgiveness, but at the same time not carry resentment in the heart. Does it make sense? Not carry a sense of hatredness, but at the same time forgive when it comes to devotee relationships. We have to be aware of that. And the Lord forgives whatever wrongdoings done to him, but he does not forgive if the same offenses are done to his devotees. This is an example of Amrish Maharaj. Because the Lord does not forgive Durvasa Muni because Durvasa Muni blasphemed Amrish Maharaj. So with this, I'll stop here. If there are any comments or questions or corrections, we can discuss for a few minutes. Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much for the nice class. So so you know how in this pastime when Durvasa Muni offended Amrish Maharaj, he didn't take any offense, but he offended him. That's also Lord's arrangement.
Yes.
So we see that as Lord's arrangement. But so because the reason I ask is say if there are like exalted devotees, like we have exalted devotees in ISKCON, and then if someone who's tries to defame them or cause them harm, so then is it okay to be angry and not want to forgive them?
Devotees?
Devotees. I mean, not exactly devotees, but
yeah. Okay. As a practitioner, I'll answer this as a practitioner of bhakti. As a practitioner of bhakti, the quality of forgiveness is very important to cultivate. The first thing that happens if somebody criticizes us, what is that?
We feel offended. We feel bad.
Why do we feel bad?
It's a false ego.
Exactly. So a devotee recognizes that when somebody criticizes me, it is me who is getting offended. Therefore, the resentment and the anger is an expression of the false ego. Amrish Maharaj did not consciously think, he's offended me, but I'll forgive him. That was not his consciousness at all, because he did not feel offended at all in the first place. Because he doesn't have ahankara. There is no question of false ego at all. The moment I feel bad about something, it's an indication of my false ego. I felt bad because that devotee, oh my goodness, that resentment in the heart is because of my false ego. So a sadhaka, a practitioner should come to this point of identifying and realizing this defect in his own heart. Because what can somebody do to me because I am Sachidananda and Amsha of the Lord? Nobody can do anything as long as I allow them to do it. Does it make sense? So therefore, a sadhaka is a nirlipta, just like a drop on the lotus flower is. The lotus flower is not wet, although inside the water. Although inside this body, a devotee is not attached to anything of this body or the identity of the body. So when somebody is criticizing, he's criticizing the body. He's criticizing the identity as what he sees outside. But as a spirit soul, have nothing to do with it. Because he sees on a larger time frame, I am not this body at all. So who is he criticizing? Who is he? Who am I? We are spirit souls. So a devotee never sees that. So that's the first thing, to identify that I am spirit, I am beyond this body, and as a practitioner I have to cultivate that I have to see beyond what is a mundane interaction that happens in this material world. And that is what most of the elevated souls and our spiritual masters are on that level. In fact, Prabhupada, if you see, Prabhupada preached to one of the most abominable people in this world during those times. They were lecherous, drug addicts, having illicit sex every day, drunken alcoholics. Prabhupada saw one quality. Hey, they're chanting the holy names of the Lord. That one quality. So another way to come out of that is to identify only good qualities in people. Okay, what is the glorifying quality in him? So by that we don't become the fly, but we become the honeybee who always seeks for nectar, especially when we are dealing with devotees. Does it make sense, Mataji? I don't know if I've answered your question. Yeah, we take every instance, every interaction that happens in my existence is an incident to improve my own consciousness. If you think about that, every instance Krishna is creating for me is for my own strengthening of the consciousness. Then the game changes. It's a different game altogether. Oh, this is the second challenge Krishna has put in front of me. How do I deal with it? Krishna, you're very clever. So please help me to improve my own consciousness. So then I play the game that Krishna is playing. Okay, Krishna, I have to be victorious in not becoming resentful, not becoming angry, not becoming jealousy. Thank you, Krishna. Please hold my hand. Don't leave my hand. Always take my hand and walk me through these difficulties. That's what Kunti Devi says. Always give me repeated difficulties so that I can always hold your hand. It's a very theoretical answer I'm giving you, Mataji. I'm far away from realizing this, but this is just a theoretical answer as far as I am concerned.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, you highlighted the topic about forgiveness. So I wanted to ask, in Krishna consciousness, what exactly does forgiveness mean? Does it mean that someone hurts you and you forgive them in your mind and move on because you have to move forward? Or does it mean you forgive them and start talking to them as normal and carry on?
What do you think? What do you think? You're talking of devotees here.
Does it depend on how much they've hurt you?
You heard the story that a devotee goes to Goloka Vrindavan and sees a devotee whom he doesn't like. And he says, how come this guy is here, man? Krishna, what is this? This guy, you all of a sudden, this guy is here. I don't like this guy. How come he's in Goloka Vrindavan? Actually, as a devotee is a reservoir of all good virtues. Devotee is someone whom the definition of devotee is, by the mere sight of this person, everybody's envy gets dissolved. Swastyastu vishwasya khalau prasidatam dhyayanstu bhutani hitam. So Prahlad Maharaj prays like that. So when we see personalities like that, there is you won't see that wrongdoing at all. We have to come to that point. The reason I am seeing a wrongdoing in that devotee is because of my own defect of seeing the defects in that devotee. So when I go beyond that limitation of mine, it's nothing about that person. It's all about my consciousness. Make sense? Right now what I'm seeing is his wrongdoing towards me. But if you see a different picture to say, where is my consciousness? My consciousness is, have compassion on him. Jesus Christ, he had compassion on the same crucifiers. He had compassion. Come, I'll hug you. I'll serve you out of love. Melt them with love. Melt them with affection. Melt them with compassion. then see the transformation. And this is exactly what Prabhupada did. Melted them with compassion. Oh, you want to drink? Okay, I'll give you more, what is that? He said chanting Hare Krishna is a room full of LSD. So he gave them gulab jamun, stuffed gulab jamuns right in their mouth. Gave them so much love, so much compassion that they were even ready to die for Prabhupada. So how much love that Prabhupada would have given. So hatred and wrongdoing can be conquered with love and compassion. And can I develop that love and compassion? And that is what Krishna is looking for. Is it not? Oh, Savior, you have so much love. You are my personal Parshad. That's how Krishna, let Krishna's side be on that person, like Madhavendra Puri, for example. Does it make sense? It's very theoretical at this point in time, but at least we should aim for that. And when we try to cultivate, and in every situation Krishna creates in our life, we should learn from it and develop that affection and love towards that person, especially the person who has hurt us. Because it's very difficult. If somebody has hurt us, to develop love to that person, very difficult. What to talk of serving him, but we should serve him. Not like, okay Prabhu, please come Prabhuji, I'll serve you prasadam. Take it Prabhuji. Halwa you want? Okay, take it. No, not like that. But real service, real compassion, so that you melt him out of that compassion, that he feels, because of that love, he feels himself, I have been so unjust to this person and he's demonstrating out of so much love. I'm very sorry for you, Savior, that I did this to him. I'm very sorry. And then you become best friends like Durvasa Muni and Amrish Maharaj. Make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is what is required in the devotee community, that we come together as a community. Yes, Prabhuji. And if it is not practiced at this level, especially at your level, you're the future of our movement. And if you all can cultivate this, this movement will run for 100,000 years. Thank you, Savior, for wonderful questions.
Hare Krishna. On the same line, when we hear classes like this about forgiveness, humility, tolerance, during the class we feel very inspired, and maybe we feel very inspired to follow that after the class for maybe a few. Speaking for myself, after class, try to follow for a few hours, maybe days. But then when it comes to a situation that arouses all these emotions, and it becomes very hard to actually put that into practice. So, and looking at the example of Dhruva Maharaj, where he felt the wrongdoing of his stepmother, and even after meeting Narada Muni, and Narada Muni advised him to go back home, he said that I cannot. This is I'm a Kshatriya by blood. I cannot forgive this wrongdoing of mine. And he, then he actually took the darshan of the Lord, and then actually became absolved of this. Yeah. But then we also see in Arjuna's case, where he got the education from Krishna about the body, about the whole Bhagavad Gita. But then, as soon as he entered into the battle of Kurukshetra, and then he lost his son,
Abhimanyu.
Yeah, Abhimanyu. He became very lamentful. So how do we understand this? Where in one case, Dhruva Maharaj, he had this, he couldn't forgive, but then once he took darshan on the Lord, then he actually, he was able to, he became purified. But then Arjuna, he saw the Lord at the start, but then when he actually went into the battle, then the actual teachings of the Lord didn't seem to be, I guess, so readily in his mind. He kind of became a bit more still attached to the bodily emotions. So how do we understand that?
Yeah. Okay. So the demonstration of Arjuna Muni is that to err is human. So it's okay to be at fault, and it's all right. So the first point as a devotee we should understand is it's okay to have faults. Acknowledge the faults. That's the second step. Acknowledge that I'm faulty. I made this mistake. Generally, have you heard this, that you make a mistake and then you realize I should not have done that? And that's a good quality, that I realize that I made a mistake. The first point is to realize it was a mistake. And the second thing that a devotee does is he acknowledges it. And then the third one is he does something to correct it. He does something, and that's what happened when Arjuna became remorseful. Then Krishna said, okay, now I will not preach, Bhishma Dev will preach. So therefore, that's when the Pandavas were taken to Bhishma Dev and he preaches. If you see Bhishma Parva in Mahabharata, there's an elaborate preaching. We have a very little in Bhagavatam, but Mahabharata is a massive cantor dedicated for Bhishma Dev's teachings to the Pandavas. So that was just a demonstration for us to say, acknowledge and learn from it. To err is human. Many times, I'm sitting on Vyasas, and many times I might go home and I might display anger and hatred and unforgiving attitude in my own home. But as long as I learn that I did a mistake and I go and acknowledge that to my family, I say, I'm sorry for my behavior, I'm learning, and then go to Krishna. Krishna, every time you test me, I fail. Please don't abandon me, my dear Lord. I am the most fallen. So Krishna creates these instances to create humility in us. So it's a good learning curve that yes, we make mistakes, we fail first, we acknowledge it, we learn from it and improve ourselves. It's a continuous improvement cycle. In companies we do this continuous improvement. So we do that continuous improvement. A devotee aims for perfection, but at the same time continuously improves. So that's my understanding, Prabhuji. And the first thing is we have to acknowledge the defects. Yes, we are faulty. And every time a fault is committed, yes, this was not right what I did. And then you work towards it, acknowledge it, work towards it. Go to the person, face it, face the fault to say, what I did is wrong, I'm sorry. That's the most difficult part. That if I've done something to someone, to go and face, to say, I'm sorry, what I did was really wrong, I'm sorry. And expressing that with humility, just like what Durvasa Muni is doing. He's not artificially expressing he's coming and genuinely saying, you are a glorious devotee of the Lord. Although he actually, in the level of advancement, Durvasa Muni's consciousness is quite ahead. He's a mystic yogi in that sense. Amrish Maharaj is not a mystic yogi. In that sense, his consciousness is quite developed. But at the same time, he comes down and he prays, I'm sorry, you are actually greater than me. Your consciousness is far more greater because Prabhupada quotes, Yoginam api sarvesham. So like that. So that's my understanding, Prabhuji. Make sense? So next time you see me doing a mistake, you should tell me. Okay, we'll stop here. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.